Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week's has gone by, and we're ready to talk some Survivor shenanigans again. And Jamie and David are here again tonight, joining me, Christy, and I did pick Ricard last week, and for my new MVP, and I gotta say I was starting to sweat a little bit last night.
You were. Deshaun's my pick.
Oh, well.
I have Danny. What can I say?
We had a game
Never
of
a
chance.
worry.
A game of chance.
That's David. Because you having Danny was the only reason that you were in the top for the week as far as the weekly picks.
Had I not forgotten to go on that 1 week, Danny would have been worth like 200 points.
Oh, that's true. No, that's true. But this was a really, we'll talk about it. I'll go into it later, but this was a really low scoring week. Like nobody, the picks were like, they were real hard.
I picked the person going home. I had that.
That's who I was gonna pick, and then I was like, and changed my mind like last minute.
There was no reward, so everyone, if you picked your reward, you got no points for that. I was like, dang it! So it was a tough one. But anyway, so let's talk about it. There was some right off the bat. We get back to camp with after voting Shan out, and to see what the alliance was doing.
Yeah,
who thought that would have been worse?
I
thought it would have been worse.
I thought Liana was going to be much more fired up than that. She was fired up, but nowhere near what I expected.
Yeah. No. But still,
I expected her to be like nuclear war, you know.
She has to realize that she can't.
She can't.
She just can't. Yeah, she can't.
Because good or bad, she has hitched her wagon to these two, and if she can't really flip, because she flips where?
Right.
Wherever she goes, she's on the bottom. At least with these two guys, maybe she thinks there'll be some loyalty there.
Yep.
They made it seem like to her that was the case, but
boy, they sure didn't own their move with Shan. And they're going, "Oh well, it wasn't our plan, and other people told us to do it." And
so,
you know,
is that gonna change later? Because here's the thing: let's say, for instance, one of them ends up in the finals, and she gets to ask them a question.
You have strangers in your house, David.
That's David's house.
The dogs are angry, my friends.
they sound really angry. Like a bunch of
actually my wife is
At first I was like, is it applause? Is there like a rolling applause? No, it's the dogs. It's the dogs.
He had to mute himself. Silent laughter. Okay.
Ha ha.
So yeah, so she asks them. So let's say that's the scenario. She gets to ask them a question, and they're at the end. Either one of them. This was an opportunity for them to tell her that they'd made a big move, right?
Right. Well,
I think that's the outlet they couldn't tell her. Go ahead, Jamie.
But there's no, I don't know. Okay, I think if they didn't get to plead their case, to the jury at the end, this would have been a horrible thing for them to do. But the fact that they can plead their case, that it's going to get brought up. We could almost guarantee that if she is sitting in the, she is sitting in the jury, but if she is sitting there and gets to ask a question, that question is going to be, you told me that you had nothing to do with one of the biggest moves of the season. Why should I vote for you over whoever?
And it depends.
It's easy. You were so angry at that moment.
Right.
You were so emotional.
That's what I mean.
Sure.
The fact that they get to plead their case
at
the end saves them from this situation.
Right. I really wanted to tell you, I always felt a connection to you, but you weren't in a place to hear it.
I feel like even if they had told her, yeah, I'm sorry, we couldn't let you know, you weren't going to see it. We knew you weren't going to see it, but just trust us. There was thing going on. She was going to pick Ricard over you or something like that.
They couldn't let her know because Shan would have played a rival, right?
Correct. So they could have explained that. And again, Liliana has had nowhere to go. She had to stay with them. So I think it would have been better if they would have tried to talk to her and let her know why it happened and own it for later on. Because
at the very least, that if they could have come to her and said, listen, we did you a favor by getting her out.
Because what proves it? When Shan stood up to walk out last week, what did she say to Ricard? She says, "You have my vote for $1 million."
Yep.
Right.
And we're
she didn't say it to Liana.
No, she didn't. And it's at 7 people. So the guys could have been like, you heard what she told him, right?
Right.
You weren't her number one.
She wasn't as loyal to you as you thought.
Yeah,
Right.
we saved you. She started talking about when the time came, and so we nipped it,
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting dynamics of like, would that come back, and will Liliana use that to her advantage as far as when she gets to ask a question to kind of, we'll see if they get there.
If
they
they
might not
get
there.
there. One of them is.
Danny will be there. Deshaun is toast. Deshaun is the biggest meat shield for Danny in the history of meat shields.
And it's so crazy because
no one likes Deshaun. They like him, but they don't like him in the game.
At the beginning of the season, it seemed like Deshaun was keeping Danny and like that they immediately, because he was like, I'll use him as a meat shield, right?
I just have a sneaking suspicion, though. I feel that next week, I feel we're going to get a little bit of that, like, really wound up Danny again.
Well, we talked about this last week, didn't we?
I don't know. I know that we talked about Liana thinking that she was going to chew their butts, but I think just from some of the clips that we see, obviously, but also, like, they're in a really stressful point of the game from here on out. This is not the same game they played last week. Now it's like every single
do or
thing they do counts.
See, I see it a little different. I said last week, and I'll say again, I think you're going to see Danny start to win competitions, and so far I've been proved out on that.
Right, no, he did.
Now, the question is, was he throwing competitions before, or did this competition just work to his strength for whatever the reason? And then until he wins, a couple, you can't say that he was throwing anything before.
Well, let's talk about this competition. Because it definitely had different stakes. So
were you surprised there was no reward?
But
maybe this is the punishment part, right? They get a reward, now they get a punishment. But maybe Danny just got a little bit of extra oomph that, that whole if I'm the first one to drop thing. And but maybe he's been faking it the whole time. Or maybe he's
Deshaun dropped in 4 seconds.
He did too.
Yeah. And I totally saw why Erica and Heather sat out, because I would have looked at that and said, there's no way. No. Yeah, I'm not. Well, you right away go like, what happens if I accidentally drop first? Maybe I wouldn't be the first to drop, but what if I accidentally did?
Yeah, not knowing what's coming.
I know I'm not outlasting every single one of these people who are in shape,
No.
So, I agree.
And then there's Heather, who knew she was screwed because all the people she could beat were already sitting over in Jeopardy.
Did you see Tiffany's head? She about broke her neck. Her head snapped so quick. She was, she didn't like that. Boy,
that was something to say. I feel like that was a really bold comment for Heather to make when there was an entire I'm sorry I let you guys down. I can't do this.
No,
she's the ultimate floater anyway. She knows she's not going to win.
But she's growing and she's learning.
That's right.
Now, I'll tell you, out of all the people's decision, there was one decision I respected more than any other. And I have to say, this is a guy I did not like at the beginning of the season. And he's grown on me, and his gameplay's gotten better. Xander had no reason to take that risk. He had an idol in his pocket. Everybody knew it. Nobody was targeting him. He knew that Liana and Danny and Deshaun were imploding. Sitting was the easiest thing in the world, and he still played. And I go, there's a guy that wants to win the game. I don't know that he will, but...
But do you think that that's because he knew he wouldn't be the first one out?
Maybe, I don't know.
So
think about it. Think about it. With the people up there, he could have been.
Yes, but another part of it too is because if they had any of these discussions about what do we do at Tribal, like some of those that we saw, and they started, there was. It's pretty obvious that they can't 100% trust Erica, that she knows that she was the swing vote.
Yeah.
So if they had talked to her at all about any of this before that competition, it should have really changed what they were willing to risk to continue on and get immunity or not.
I wonder if Xander, because there was talk last night in their one-on-ones about this Xander Ricard duo alliance or whatever, that they trust each other or whatever Xander said. I don't think Ricard did, but I think Xander did, that he likes Ricard. So was it a situation of, yes, I have my idol, but we still want to keep control of this game, and if I win immunity, I could still use my idol to save someone else. We could, you know what I mean? It still gives you that kind of power.
Doesn't he have an extra vote too?
Yeah, because he used it.
Right.
That was him using his extra vote last night, right?
Right,
That's
right,
why
right.
Because everyone would look like, why is there another vote?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna admit it took me about 14 seconds to put the pieces together. I was like,
Right.
oh yeah, because I forgot he had the extra vote.
And that was
What a good play!
job.
What a good play
Good
to
job.
know he needed to use it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah,
exactly.
it was a great move.
I don't know if he's just really good at like figuring out what it's statistic probabilities in his mind of like, if this, then that, then I can do this, then I can block that. I mean, he's pretty good.
And then he's moving, I think, to align with Ricard. He knows that Danny and Deshaun are going to be inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to divide those two. So he can't trust Erica, and Heather's not going to win a competition out. So
Ricard's
the only
always
place for him to go is Ricard. And I think
Yep.
Danny's going to come hard at Ricard and Deshaun too. So,
and I honestly think if it got down to Ricard and Xander at the end, dude, that might be a pretty good even match of like who played better. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think they're probably more evenly matched than anybody else that's left. I mean, it's not just anybody else that's left, anyone else in the game, really. They've both kind of pulled about the same amount. They've had the same they've had the same advantages, and they've been used. And
they both have been able to pull the strings to make things happen their way.
Yep.
They've both gotten people out. They've both won immunities. They've both won challenges. Yeah, I think they're really.
I agree with that. For Danny or Deshaun to win, they both have to go home.
Yep.
Because if either one of them are sitting there, they win. If it's one or the other, they win running away over anybody else in the game.
I would hope so. If we're not getting bitter right now, of the people who are actually playing, overall, the outwit, outlast, whatever, outplay. I think it's those two.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, Erica and Heather aren't winning. Everyone says Erica's smart. I haven't seen it yet, other than the hammer.
No, she is
hammered very well.
No. The problem is that she doesn't tell her strategies to the camera. She tells them to the other people and says that, like last week when she was like, "We have to split the vote just in case."
Yep,
that was her.
Right. And that was a big thing.
And she's done. There was something else earlier several weeks ago where she did something. Where like, oh, and people saw it. People saw that. She
and
thinks.
Then this.
But I still don't think she's got votes if she gets to the end.
I don't think that she has. Nope. She should not have the credit in her game that the others are earning. But
I don't even think she'd have the likability from all the people on the jury.
No, but is she another Heather? Absolutely not.
No.
But she is as far as the challenges are concerned.
She hasn't been awesome at them, but the one we had, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yes,
where
she
they
did
had
the starfish puzzle, right?
Yeah. So I mean, maybe not
horrible,
top notch on the competitions,
but definitely not Heather.
Not a Heather.
So of the people that are left, I think we can all agree that Ricard and Xander are 1A and 1B, and you can debate who's on the top of that.
And and thank goodness, two really likable people too. I mean,
I like both of them a lot, and I like Deshaun and Danny a lot.
But so who do you think is higher up in the pecking order, Danny or Deshaun? Who would be 3?
Right now, I think that Deshaun gets more votes than Danny.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen from here on out.
Some people, so I don't know.
I think it depends what happens here the next 2 vote outs to see. But yeah, Deshaun, there are people sitting on the jury who know they worked with Deshaun to create strategies for who, you know what I mean?
Right.
So those people would know what Deshaun's doing. But now the way that Deshaun's made, now who will be going to the jury and who's been with this, this week, people, he's made people mad. He made Shan mad, but there are some people who.
But he got to plead his case already to her, so in a way, because when he told how everything went down, he laid it out.
Cried, and he was like, "Okay, so was that real?"
I don't know.
I felt like production was like telling him to do it. It felt
I
contrived
think
to
that
me.
what he was saying and what he was feeling was 100% real. Were there? I feel like maybe his voice was pushed to waver just a little bit, but to really have impact. But I think he meant everything he said.
Although I will say a lot of people would have the ability at this point in the game to, given a moment like that where it's everyone's watching you, you take all the frustration, all the hunger, all the whatever, funnel that into some sort of tears. I bet you I can make myself cry like that.
But you look at Xander, like anytime someone says something nice about another person or about like a personal struggle that they've had, anything, and it pans over to Xander and dude's eyes are welling up. Like
he's so empathetic.
He's such a softie.
Yeah,
he is. And Danny, I thought his little human moment with his dad, the anniversary of his dad's death,
so
I thought that was an interesting edit.
I think the whole episode was really quite a Danny episode.
Yes,
maybe they should have all been. That's how I see it.
Oh, I know.
And he's just getting the crap at it.
But yeah, so I mean, he finally got to tell his stories, right? So it was the 25th anniversary of his dad dying in a car accident when he was 8 years old, and he says he's had all this anger for his father not being around, and he's trying to deal with this. So I don't know really how Survivor after 25 years makes you finally let it go, the anger, but maybe it makes you realize that life is short. No one wants to be away from their loved ones, and if they can help it. And
they've been away from people that they can trust long enough now that it's got to be so much for them to deal with. And then you put in the elements and the loneliness and the quiet and the not eating,
not sleeping.
That is a really lot of time to have to think about things you've been outrunning for 25 years.
Right.
There's a reason why when people go on sabbaticals or they're institutionalized, or it's finding the quiet, and then you start to rehash all of the things that you carry around all the time. And somebody like him, who is an athlete and he's a father,
push, and
it's just go. Yeah, he's got plenty to keep him as busy as possible, where he doesn't have to sit and take it all in and go through it.
Good point.
Saying that he doesn't go out to visit his grave, things like that. Like, he's really avoided the whole thing.
Dealing with it. So he's about what? So if that's 25 years, he's 33-year-old man. I really hope that after this, I hope he continues to work through that for himself, because that can be life-changing, right? That can be life-changing in all your relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that there's so many kids that grow up and let's say they have the success that he's had in whatever craft that they're working on. To not have your dad there is something that you would always bring up. I wish so much my dad could see this. I wish
especially
so much
when
my dad could see this.
You see your co-players with their parents, their dads there or something.
But I thought it was really interesting that somebody like Danny, who by all appearances seems to have a lot of heart and really wants to lift people up, and he's so much of like a dad when it comes to that stuff. It's interesting to hear that he's avoided and been angry at his own for such a sad circumstance. But
and he's kind of stoic, he doesn't show a lot of emotion,
and he's also very quiet, I think, also. So you just don't get a lot out of him.
But he knows how to, probably due to coaches and stuff, he knows how to rally around somebody to get them to feel good enough about their own capability to push through something. So,
and then I thought when he said to Deshaun, it's just a tough day for me, so if I'm acting weird, don't take it personal. It's not you, it's just something I'm working through. And I mean, that's kind of smart if you might be an ass during the day, to say, hey, it's a tough day for me if I'm a little off.
Yep.
Okay, because he's so stoic and so quiet, that could have been his way to put that open,
to bring it up, sure,
so that the two of them could talk about it. Because maybe, I don't even know, I'm not this kind of person, but when people have something they need to talk about and they're not good at bringing things up, or they're just a quiet person in general, I don't know how hard that must be for them sometimes just to bring it up, to show the vulnerability, even though they know they need to get it out, So
Right.
Yeah. Andy
I'm
does not
somebody
have that
who
issue.
doesn't
I'm
have what
somebody
issue?
who walks
Deshaun
around
doesn't.
with
No, he does not.
I always I kind of have my heart on my sleeve, and I'm pretty much an
Yeah,
open
me
book
too.
to those who don't even want to read the book. I'm like,
Right.
here's everything. So
Right.
I can't imagine what it's like to hold things in
Mhm.
for any real period of time, because it's
Let
just
alone 25 years.
yeah, I'm just so the opposite of that personality type. So when I see somebody that has the ability to do that, um, it's easy for me to go, oh wow, like that's pretty impressive. But you forget, they're people and it takes a toll, and you have to
Oh
let
yeah.
those things out for a reason.
I did.
Yep.
I did like Heather's response after when Deshaun was all upset and Probst kind of put her on the spot and said, "Well, what do you think?" And she had a pretty good response, I thought.
She did. I wondered why Probst called on her.
It was odd, wasn't it? I thought so too.
It seemed, unless maybe he called on other people for and maybe the editing, that was the best one. Maybe, I don't, although that seems unlikely.
Yeah, because they say that goes on like 3 hours, the filming, right? And they they keep the half hour.
I mean, they've had conversations already this season. Xander with who was he talking to that he got all teary eyed? Was it last night? Did he tell him he was sorry? That he apologizes?
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, that's what he said. He was owning the privilege that he has, right?
Yep.
Just by nothing that he did, just no different. Just this is what I look like, and this is the privilege that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And
I could hear the Facebook warriors scream universally.
No, it was. I thought
and the Twitter defenders were gearing up too. So
they
cancel each other out in the metaverse.
Facebook got like as bad as it got over the summer with the cookout thing. Like Facebook got real super ugly last night.
No, I do not care. I
think
that Xander is a super compassionate, sensitive human being who who sees things and sees other people and the struggles that they might have. Just because someone else has struggles, that doesn't mean you don't have them. It just means, So anyway, I thought that was really
generation thing again. See, he's in the same age group as all these cats from the summer. We were like, look at these.
Right.
Youths.
So then what happens? Probst asked Heather, because she's not of that age group. And she did admit that she's learning and growing.
She seemed to get it a little bit enough. And,
she said, because she said, I didn't realize things were like that. And she's told them, I'm sorry that you have to feel this way in your life, right? Or something like that you have to go through this. Yep. And you know what? For lots of people, it takes knowing someone and having them be able to articulate it to them in a way that makes them understand.
Yeah.
Right.
And Evie, on Evie's Ponderosa, she brought up Tiffany, really leaning into that too, like wanting to sit down and ask a lot of questions and really understand things that she's not normally dealing with in her own life. And so again, go CBS. You're working really hard to put interesting people who have open minds.
We just want zero a-holes on there.
That's it. I mean, if you're an a-hole, you can be
okay.
Where's my Johnny Fairplay?
They can be an a-hole, but they can't be an a-hole that is like.
I'm not saying a racist asshole. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying somebody who's just kind of like, that's fine. I just want to play the game.
Where's my villain?
I'm just here to play.
But don't be offensive to groups of people. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. I get that. That's the real world. This is Survivor. It's not the real world. We're just playing a game.
We can show how to play the game in a nicer way.
We don't want anyone that we have to have a special episode with production involved.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want one of those. We're done with that.
That's so 2 years ago. That's so pre-COVID. We're not doing that anymore. So I thought it was a good tribal. I'm sure there were lots of people that, this is so forced. This is so contrived.
It felt a little like that. It felt like maybe after he started, they stirred the pot a little bit.
It's Jeff. It is Jeff. They could not sit quietly and eat rice and do nothing else for an entire 3 days, and Jeff not find a way to stir that pot.
Oh no.
Like, you know what? I think even if he was desperate enough, he would play like Mean Girl and be like, "So, I've been hearing that so
Why
and
is
so
all
is
the rice
saying this
white?"
about you. Why is that?"
Now, during the competition when they were holding the thing,
Yeah.
I wanted to go, is any of them just going to look and go, Jeff, shut the F up, man. You're just
I
going
would. I would have the hardest time.
It's like,
You know what,
this
though?
is for all the marbles. This really matters. It's really hard.
Yep.
Every piece of wind makes it harder, you know?
Ooh,
Have you-
so-and-so's wobbling. Somebody's,
Mhm.
Moving.
I would
It's like
lose
Jeff
my
popped a
patience.
gummy and didn't realize how much he was talking.
I think he
That
does
Jeff.
that just to, he thinks he's the color commentary, and that's fine. At
And he
least,
does have really great. I mean, he's great at staying on top and giving the,
Mhm.
making it a little bit
And
more
it-
exciting. But
and it does level the playing field because they're all hearing it, right? So unless when he starts calling them out by name, because that
And he
would throw me off.
does.
And he does.
yeah, yep.
So
Sean,
That
this is
part
for all
would
the
get
marbles.
me-
You look like you're sweating a little bit.
Yeah, that part would get me like, why you got to be giving my game away?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
looking at me. Also,
So
the
which-
flies. The flies would
Oh,
make
yeah.
me
Oh,
so
yeah.
mad.
What did you guys think was the better grip? Was it over or under?
Well, clearly it was under.
Apparently,
'Cause
when
he
I
won.
saw that he changed his grip, I thought, "Ooh, that's not going to be as good." I didn't think
Well, here's the
because
thing.
I think I
Yeah.
don't know.
Here's the
I
thing.
don't think
He
that's-
grew up doing pull-ups.
That's true.
No, you don't do. There's no exercise that's this way.
Oh,
So this
you
was
are right.
brilliant for an athlete.
Oh,
I knew
wow.
right away why he did it. I'm going, that's a curl.
Wow, see,
Thank you.
Jamie, that's why you and I would be.
That's why I'm not working
That's
out.
why we would have been Deshaun.
But I'll tell you, Xander was
No,
a
let's
good
be-
shape,
let's be
and
honest,
he
we
had
would've
that
been
thing, and
sitting
he was
out.
all wiry. And
So the twist. The first one that goes out now has to do this. Pick a box. What do you think of that?
odds were going to be that bad? I didn't
I
think they were
thought
going to
I
be
thought it
worse
was
than
going to be a
50.
50. I thought it would be a 50-50 thing. Because let's be honest, he didn't win, but to make the odds that bad.
66% chance you go home.
I
Yeah,
didn't like it. I don't like a game of chance when it's your game.
because if
Well,
you
but
didn't-
I would have loved for him to say the first person out faces a 66% chance to go home, because then more people might have sacked.
yes, correct.
Right? So I think if you were going to do that, you should have said it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
know.
I like when we have things like deciding by fire, something like that. Like, what are you learning while you're here?
Mhm.
How
Right.
good are you? What are
Okay,
you
so
picking up?
what are the odds that he picked the right box?
One in
Yeah, I
three.
know. And then they'd have one of
I
their.
no. I'm saying, do you think production kind of they tried to make it look good, but then made it look good? Like,
Yeah, I
that's
don't know.
your
I'm like,
I don't know. That would come out.
I'm so how I do like to really ponder these things, but
I mean, is
like
it possible? Yes. The honesty
not
is
only
yes,
did
it's
he-
possible. But
not
it
only
is.
did he pick the box that he picked, and then they were like, "You want to
See,
risk his
No,
off?"
they did the Monty Hall thing.
Right?
That's what I wonder if production didn't do. Is
Right,
They
they
wanted
were
him to go, and they knew he had the right one, so they said, Jeff, go ahead and signal them to give him another opportunity.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like a weird, because there's
I mean,
no
so
way
that
Jeff
could
doesn't
be.
know which one has it. There's no way.
But I'm saying
I don't
that's
know.
There's
might
no
have
way
been,
that Jeff doesn't know.
if he would have had the death's head, it's possible Jeff wouldn't have given him the second chance to trade. That's how you could have influenced it, because there were no
Maybe.
rules going into it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
not. I don't know how I felt about that. I mean, it all worked out.
I mean, it
but
was interesting to watch play out because you didn't know what was going to
Sure.
happen. Like, you
Sure.
literally, there's no way, there's no, oh, what are they saying? No, nobody's involved except these boxes.
Well,
But
and
it
then
was
the
kind
joy-
of like-
It was interesting to see. It was like, ooh.
And then the
It was-
joy on his face when he got to stay. That was pretty cool.
Well, he
And
said, I
how
feel like
everybody
it's
else
not
like jumped
funny.
up. The same people that were gonna like, okay, he might have to go. Like, we're like, yay!
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, if he goes, we don't have to vote anyone out.
Well,
but
that sure put Liana in the box then.
yeah,
It did.
Because then it was like, well, the two guys that they probably would have gone after are safe.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. That was her game.
Yeah.
And she's not rolled, like, and she never even rolled. Because didn't she say, like, well, if it comes to this, then I might have to roll my chances,
Because
but then I'll lose a vote.
she didn't count on the extra vote, so she thought she would
Right.
tie it up, I think.
Yeah.
But you tie it up if people aren't going to move their votes. If it's 3-3.
But I mean, if she rolled for the chance, she would have lost her vote, so she wouldn't have been able to tie it up.
Right. So unless she rolled the right thing.
Right, but then exactly, then she could have saved herself, but altogether.
Right, but if the tie would have persisted, they may fire,
It's
right?
crazy to
Or draw
think.
rocks. They draw rocks.
Rocks.
It's crazy to think how only one person has rolled the dice.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know.
You lose a lot.
But if you think you're going home anyway, or worried.
Did you notice they announced next week's the last week for it? Or was it this week?
This week.
Or the next week's the last week for something else. Maybe the extra vote.
Well, that's gone.
No, there was something else they said next week was the last week for.
Not Idle, was it?
No, it shouldn't be. Maybe.
I'm not sure. But what I do know is that it was a dumb twist because nobody wants to give up their vote at Tribal.
But here's the thing.
Not with that low of a chance. If it was a 50-50
1 in
chance,
6,
everyone
1
would
in
have played
6
it.
is tough.
Yeah.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It's roll the 6-sided dice.
I will
if you roll a 6, the ogre doesn't kill you.
There are some people in the history of Survivor that were in a position that they knew it was them and they had no way to save themselves. And had that been an option, they wouldn't have cared about losing their vote if it meant that was their last option. You know what I mean? Some of these like clean sweeps where it was clearly going to be one person.
Right.
So I can see where it would work, but we just haven't had any votes this year that have been slam dunk one way or the other. They've all been for a while.
I mean, like they can put together a plan, but it's like then they go to Tribal and then
there's been a lot of blindsides. There's been a lot of blindsides. They
Exactly.
blindsided Nasir, they blindsided Shand. And I don't think Liana was really a blindside. I think she knew she was out there. But I think she thought she was going to survive.
Yeah, did you see? What was all of Shan's faces over there sitting in jury? She walked out. She looked so angry at those boys.
She did. She looked really mad.
She looked mad as soon as she sat down, and I couldn't figure out if she was mad because Danny won immunity or she was. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause you walk in and what do you see? You see who's sitting there and who won immunity. That's the first thing all those guys want to know the second they go in.
Well, it's also the first time she's seen them since they betrayed her.
Sure.
And she's had a bit of time to sit and ponder out the game and think, am I more mad at Deshawn or am I more mad at Ricard?
And true.
But
and
she's not that introspective, and she didn't realize that Ricard's the reason she was expendable to Danny and Deshawn.
Right. Correct.
Is because with Ricard, she had an advantage outside of their alliance that no one else had, and so she had to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and apparently
she
was really like her interviews and stuff. She says that she was a lot more vocal about how loyal she was to Ricard.
Yeah.
And maybe shouldn't have been.
Right.
No, she shouldn't have been. You keep that
clearly.
But she looks real mad, and I can see that those guys kind of turn their back on you, and you go home.
But they made the exact right game move.
Sure, I'm not saying they didn't, but from her point of view, she feels super betrayed, and then she's probably sitting there like, "Oh, I just want them to lose. I want them to lose so bad." Ooh, and then you walk in, and one of them's got immunity, and you're probably just like, "Are you kidding me? They better not win this." Right. And then they vote Leanna out, and she's like, she still looked. They showed her after Leanna got. She was sitting the whole time mad. And they were talking at one point when they were talking, and she was sitting there because my daughter said, "Oh my God, she's got them hoops," and she's getting upset. You can see the hoops were moving, like she was like.
Did you see?
I don't know if she was like moving her leg or what, but she was mad.
It might be. I mean, we didn't see it, but like there's a really good possibility as the jury was walking out and as the tribe was walking in, Liana could have just looked over at her and went, like, I'm toast, man. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see Chada's tweet about it?
Mm-mm.
Something like, I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah.
Because it was the two girls writing around like her and Tiffany.
Yep. But I don't think that that's going to end with the guys going. I think those two. I think the rest of them still. Get rid of one of them next week, right?
It's gonna.
Well, it's gonna all come down to who wins immunity.
Right.
Right, but they can't both win.
I can say that loser's pick is going to be either Danny or Deshawn, Ricard or Xander, or Erica.
I
So
think if
pretty
you're
much
in,
Heather's staying.
I think
All of them have a chance of being gone, except for
only-
Heather. She's
the
not
only one
going
that-
anywhere.
the only one that talks about sending Erica home is Danny. Like literally, I don't think anybody else talks about that.
Yeah, but he wants
but now
Ricard gone
Xander-
more than anybody.
Right, but now they're focused on Ricard.
Right.
So,
But now Xander and Ricard this last week, because they were like, I don't know, Erica is like real shady. She's acting real shady.
right,
So-
shady. But if they're not winning comps, do you know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah.
So I think if I was any of those four guys, I think I'm looking at Heather and Erica and not wasting my time with taking either one of them out because, like, you don't. Why? You can do it later, probably.
You know,
Now,
one of the four guys goes home. I agree with you.
Yes, and I think that Deshawn and Danny, if they would try to target Ricard. Yep, and I think that Ricard and they would try and focus on.
Okay, so
on
Xander
Danny.
has an idol. Is he the only one that has an idol?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think in the preview they showed Danny hunting an idol, didn't they?
But does he really? Is it he hunting for because he thinks? Why would they? I don't think there's gonna be another one out there.
Okay, so here's
Well,
this
you?
scenario.
Yeah, like there's an idol on this island. I'm gonna find it or something. I thought.
Yes.
So let's say that Xander wins immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has an idol and he has immunity. Do you think at this point in the game he'll continue to hold on to it? I mean, he's held on to it. Or do you think he would be willing at this point to hold on to Ricard?
Nope, he'll hold on to the idol because if you think about it now, they're down to what, 7 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he wins immunity, he's guaranteed 6. He's got an idol, he's guaranteed 5.
He's guaranteed 5.
He ain't holding anybody.
Right,
I wouldn't,
true.
because here's the thing. So if he won, he would not. Him and Ricard would vote together. Danny and Deshawn would want Ricard out. Where would the girls go?
Well, it depends. Erica's
But that's the thing.
Complete Charlie Fox.
Could the guys? Could those two guys get Erica and Heather with them? Could they?
I think either group could get Heather if they.
We're an original. Well, she's the original tribe to Dan. Both of the girls are original tribe to Danny and Deshawn. I mean, yeah, Danny and Deshawn.
Yeah,
well, that could be their move. That could be Danny and Deshawn's move is to get the girls on board for a week or two, get the other 2 guys out.
Yep.
That would be. I think.
Or it could be the other way around.
Yeah, it could be
Erica really. She could have gone either way this week. It would not have hurt her game either way.
Yeah, but I think she's more afraid of Ricard than she is of Danny or Deshawn.
She's not winning this game at all. She needs to give it up.
But she thinks she's
in
it.
I would absolutely love to see her not vote. Let Danny and Deshawn think that she's voting with them and then not, and then go, hey guys, remember when you sent me all by myself to that island and you could have sent Nasir? Remember? Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I think that'd be so funny.
That was a long 2 days, guys.
Yeah. And she was like out there miserable and crying. And Nasir probably would have been like, let's face it, Nasir would have had a hammock made out of like things. He would have had like a stack of food. He would, you know,
like half a village would have already been built with like a supermarket.
And people be gaining weight on the island. I mean, you have 87 papayas.
There'd be a paved road in the works.
Have you seen the video of the guy who is in the jungle and he digs the thing and it's got like a pool and it's got like a little cave? He'd be that guy, right? He's got like digging it in the ground.
Yeah, they lost when they got rid of him. They lost a lot of good meals, I think.
Yeah,
they did.
He was willing to get whatever anyone needed for food.
Jeff would have come over to talk to him, and Nasir would have been like, "Oh, this has been the 2 best days of my life. It's so quiet over here. I'm really resting up, getting ready."
I don't think in at least the last 2 episodes when we've seen them eat, I don't think we've seen anybody eat fish. It's just been rice.
Right.
There's no fish because Sydney was their fisher person.
That's been a long time ago. That
Randy was the only one that could catch fish.
jury. That's a long
Wasn't Danny fishing at one point?
time ago.
I
early
don't
on?
know. I don't remember him catching
But-
anything.
But like, aren't you trying to do something?
Yeah,
You got
maybe
nothing else to do.
maybe just swimming is just takes too
Take
much
some-
at this point.
Take some twigs and take somebody's shirt and make it into like a net and try and scoop something up, like something.
Do something creative just to get through your day and maybe feed you.
Do some like MacGyver stuff. Come on, try at least. At least.
I'd love to see you on the island. There's like a whole episode of Christy like trying to invent things on one side of the island.
Because I am that kind of nerd. What do we have? What can we use in our natural environment?
Yes.
But yeah, like
It's like 14 step ladders to nothing, but she made ladders.
no, I probably wouldn't make. I don't climb ladders, so I probably wouldn't have made a ladder. But some sort of thing to like catch a fish, because scooping one up would be easier than trying to stab it, right?
I feel like it would be.
I feel like
but I haven't.
when they get their fishing gear, I always think the fishing net would be easier.
I always think that like a fishing pole would be easier.
Well,
Like,
sure.
Could we
But
just
the
give these
spear
guys
thing-
a fishing pole?
The
maybe?
Or that-
spear? I always love the
no,
spear.
the
The
sling.
sling,
thing.
right.
That's so weird because you have to like pull it and like there's some sort of like.
It's like a rubber band. It's like
Yeah.
you shoot a bullet.
Oh no, no! I mean,
And
I
not
would
only you
try
got
it.
to get them, but it's got to stay on it when it pulls back against the force
Correct.
of the water. So
Right.
Correct, because they must not be barbed. They must not like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think they are.
so yeah, I don't know. Those are weird. But I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be something to do. So I probably would
And I mean,
practice.
like, let's
But
face
they don't
it,
even
no
show
one
anybody
ever,
even trying to practice or trying.
no
to
one's
get
ever
it.
bringing in like a big, a big fish. It's always these little tiny like.
Dude,
bitty
you know
thing.
what? You'd probably eat it though. They were saying they were going to go look for crabs on the beach. Was that a ploy to get away and talk, or were they really looking for crabs?
Maybe A and B.
Probably, yeah, probably. So apparently that's a thing they can find, but
I don't
They
know.
aren't
It would
big.
just
The
be about
crabs are little.
sleeping and
right.
eating.
So
the
that doesn't
whole
do anything.
time.
I mean, if you cook it with your rice, you flavor your rice, I guess. But
Have
it's
you ever
not-
had Maryland crab? Crab's about this big. You work for a half an hour for this much meat.
Yeah, no.
It's awesome, but so frustrating. Unless you're with somebody who grew up there who knows how to pick them, forget it.
Forget it. That's
Forget
a lot
it.
of work.
And then they're like, dude, you're eating the lungs again. I'm like, oh.
Protein. Well, how about do they never ever look for like shellfish and stuff? Is it maybe the waters are too warm for stuff like that? No,
I don't
they
know.
have
Or
to
maybe
be.
it's like really boring footage, and so we never get to see
Maybe.
it.
But you never see. I don't know.
I
'Cause
just feel
think
like that's what I'd be doing most of the
dig up
time. Is like,
dig up the beach, right? And start like see
Right.
like when you see those little air holes, there's something there.
Well, they
Okay,
haven't been
listen,
a big
I'm just
in the
saying-
water group, have they?
I'm just saying, in Lost, it was less than a week before we had, like, sea urchin appetizers.
Yeah, right.
Red herrings. I mean, if they
100%.
can do it on that island, surely
They
our
don't-
survivor folk can get a fish.
Hugo's out there with them to help them out. Yeah.
But were the sea urchins real? Or were they really just in their imagination in person?
Were
We don't
they
know.
real?
Well, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. How do you trust the person who made the sea urchin for you, right?
The
Or
sea
were they just
urchins were
planted by
dead the
Ben
entire
Linus?
time.
that's when they died. It wasn't the plane crash. It was the
The
sea
sea
urchin.
urchins are
Thanks
in.
a lot. Thanks a lot.
They're in
Yeah.
tidal purgatory.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
don't know.
goodness,
Yeah,
guys.
They haven't been showing very much of them doing anything, but we've had like 2 weeks in a row with 30-minute tribals.
Yeah.
Was it nearly 30 minutes
I
last
know.
night? Yeah.
Okay, so I usually we set it on the DVR and I let it run a little bit before I start watching it so I can get past
Right.
the
Commercials,
first round
yeah.
of commercials. But the when I went to start it, when I turned my TV on, they're all around tribal, and that was 8:35.
You're like, huh?
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It was 8:35 last week too. Yeah.
And then I'm like this. I'm like covering it. I'm like la 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 la, trying
Right.
to get it.
Exactly.
Like, why are they doing tribal so early again? But
Do you think that that's on purpose, that production is trying to create these dramatic tribals, or is it just that these tribals happen that they deem to be dramatic, so therefore they edit for that?
No,
I
I
have-
think. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's a mix. of things. I think one, they're probably not doing anything of interest around camp. No one's been out. It's been 3 weeks now, and we've not had any episode where we really focused on somebody looking for an idol. It's like, think about Tony's season. Every other
Yeah.
episode was Tony hunting for an idol.
Oh
or
my
building
gosh,
a spy
him
shack. Or,
sneaking around camp
Right.
at
The
night. when
Spy
everyone's
Shack
asleep.
was awesome.
Yeah.
You
Even
know,
the Spy
I mean-
Shack 2 was pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
just the thing that we're used to seeing. There's, and especially at the beginning of this season, there was this whole thing was about this advantage or this idol.
Yeah.
And now, so like what, 3-4 episodes in a row, we're dealing with tribal. The show's
And then
in
we don't-
tribal.
Well, I
And
think
then and then we don't even have a reward. It's just straight immunity, going to tribal. That's it.
if production's mission is to find the fun that is Survivor and the things that the fans want is tribal, and the conflict between the contestants is what people want to see. And interestingly enough, the last 3 tribals, you didn't know for sure who was going home.
Right.
And so it does kind of get boring if you know exactly what's going to
Yeah, that's
happen
true.
before they go.
I like this with the way that they play it out. And it's just worked out these last couple weeks that it's both sides kind of have a plan, and you just don't know whose plan's going to go, right? It's not, nothing's been like the House unanimously votes.
Yeah.
Right. Now, by this
Crap.
time, do we usually have, and they may not be doing that this year, but don't we usually have like the visit by loved ones by 6?
Oh,
It's got to be next week, right?
It's gotta be. Wait,
Well, I
next
don't know if
week
they're
is-
going to do it because of COVID restrictions. It might be like a letter or a video.
Oh, I bet you're right.
So that's
So
got to
wait.
be.
So Leanna goes home. We're sitting at 7 right now.
Yeah. And there's only 2 weeks. There's next week and the week after, right?
Right. We're
And then
rounded
Sunday,
to
and then the
now.
Sunday finale. Is that what it
I
is?
think that's the finale. Is
In
the
2 weeks?
16th. Yeah,
What?
I think so. Maybe I'm
You know
wrong
what?
about that.
No, you're probably right, but it just seems like it's gone
the
kind of
finale
fast,
is on
right?
the
Because
the
we're going to have a
15th of
scheduling
June.
issue on the 16th because I got Spider-Man tickets. So
Spider-Man.
You have what?
Spider-Man
ticket?
tickets with my 15-year-old. My 15-year-old son, who is not 14 but is rather 15,
15.
Right.
and is
Well,
a sophomore.
He's probably 16 now.
No, he's not.
When's his birthday?
April 20.
What's his social security number? I'm just checking.
Just say that.
No, hey, he's him and my daughter.
I'll
are
take
the
it
same
my
age.
social
So
security number if you want.
Go sophomores. 2 weeks. It's gone fast, but you know what? It at the same time it feels
But
like
that
we've
means
been watching
2.
it.
I'm thinking 2 go home next week.
Yeah.
Do we have a 2-hour episode? I didn't. Even
I
look
don't.
to see
I
what
don't know.
the
And if I'm wrong about the 16th thing, I'm going to feel bad. But
No,
I'm
I don't
pretty
think
No,
you're wrong.
you're right because you go
Because
another
if you
week.
think about it, otherwise it's Christmas.
Yep, it's too close
Yep.
to Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's the right date.
Hmm.
But
So that means 2 go home next week, and then the final 5 go to the last week.
yeah,
Does that feel right? Or maybe 3 go home next week, and it's the final 4. I don't know. But you know what this may mean? We don't have to see the thing where they reminisce with the torches.
they're totally going to reminisce.
Because if they do that, I'm going to vomit.
They haven't done that for years, though.
Oh, and I still hate it. I still
I always hated it.
So
You know
say
what?
we
That's
all.
not true. The first year, I didn't mind it because that was the first year of Survivor, and you didn't know what to expect, and
It
you
was
kind
the
of
first year of this kind of game style at all.
true.
Right.
But the first year when they did that, it made you guys really take, because you didn't know the game so much in your head like you do now,
Right.
and it really made you remember all the steps that got those people there. So
And you also went,
now we
how
got
is the naked guy still in? And, all these
Yep.
great people are out.
Yep.
they all just thought he was such a you-know-what that no one would vote for him.
Yeah, no one would know.
He is such a jerk.
Isn't it interesting that the most unlikely winner in all the seasons was the first?
Yeah, it is. I
I
kind of
mean,
like
isn't
that.
that
about
odd?
the
I mean,
world,
maybe it's just because nobody knew how to play the game.
Okay, but you know what? Is it weirder than that? Is it weirder than the fact that a term used that all of us know what the term is now in every single style of any sort of like gameplay that has anything to do with groups of people, the term alliance. Games
Mhm.
never had an alliance before.
Right.
And that what's so crazy about
I
it
mean, it
is
might
that
have,
it was Pam who started.
but
This
was that
thing
a
is-
term?
that's in our lexicon, you know?
Is that a game? Is that a term that was used in other gaming things? Maybe not TV reality shows because that was a new thing, but in like gaming things when people like team up.
I mean,
And
not like as an official term. Like maybe if you were playing like, you know, I can't even
I was
actually.
thinking like
Dungeons and Dragons. My
I-
second Dungeons and Dragons reference in one episode.
well, I was thinking Dungeons and Dragons. I was wondering if World of
Several.
Warcraft or one of those kinds of things. I mean, I know they have what guilds and whatnots, but I didn't know if they.
Yeah,
if it
I'm
was
not sure that
considered.
it really is.
I mean, it might. I'm just saying.
It was.
That's
I
all.
really think that it was Pam that like laid it out. Like we need to form an alliance, and like who
A team,
knew that thing was going to be what it is now? Pam.
yeah.
Of
But what's
all
interesting
people.
is Xander this year is kind of not been in an alliance.
No, he
He's
hasn't.
just sort of been his own dude, doing what he wants, betraying people. You don't know, I'm not used
Looking
to
for butterflies, you know,
Yep.
and
Yep. Did you
that's
guys?
pretty
Did you
amazing.
see the secret scene? Did you like? I shared it on Twitter. Did you get to watch it?
The secret
Okay.
scene.
What happened?
So there's a secret scene.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
it's Shan and Ricard and Xander all talking. And they're talking about Liliana because you know how she's like gunning after Xander. And Xander's like, I can't, like, I don't want to vote for her. Like, I can't go against her. He's like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. He's like, I have a huge crush on her. And then Shan was like, what? Oh my gosh. You know, she thought it was so funny and stuff. And he was like, and she's like, you should tell her. You should just tell her. Be like, listen, I know you think I'm coming after you, but like, I think really highly of you. You know, blah blah blah.
And by the way, I want to go out to sleep with you.
Right? And he's
okay,
like,
so will they
know,
bring that up at the finale? Because that would be so cute.
And then it was like hilarious because a little bit later it has Shan and Ricard like walking with Leon, and they're like, and she's like, should I tell her? I should tell her. I have to tell her. I want to tell
so
her.
high school, right?
And Ricard's like, oh, okay, about that. Yeah. And she's like, so here's the deal. Like, Xander has a huge crush on you. And girl is like,
Mm-mm.
she's like, well, that's flattering, but like, no, I'm still coming for you.
Aww.
But it was pretty cute. So like this whole time, you know, she's like, he's coming for me, and I gotta worry about this guy, and I gotta worry about this guy. And he's like the one person on the island she probably didn't actually have to worry about at all.
Right.
Like, you know, all doe-eyed.
But she thought all the other guys were on her side. You know what I mean? She had,
Right.
so she didn't, yeah. So
it was pretty funny though.
So yes, you are correct. The finale is on the 15th from 8 until 11.
Right.
Obviously, we won't be recording that night, but
well, we should find out if the mothership isn't. Maybe we should just go live afterwards.
That would be 11 o'clock your time.
I don't care. I got no life.
Wow. I'm sure they will, but I have no idea. But whatever people tell me to do, that's what we'll do.
All right.
I just say though, if the mothership does go live afterwards, we all get on that chat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, let's do that instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we get like a crazy Hank takeover of the chat. The chat has now been taken over by Crazy Tank TV.
Crazy Hank's crazies are coming for you.
Oh, that's funny. And you know, none of them watch this, right? So they won't even know it's coming.
They'll have no clue.
They have no clue.
They get this far anyway.
They what?
They get this far in. They're not getting 53.
No. Not to hear all the things we said about them.
Okay, I think it's time to talk about Fantasy Survivor because after all,
yep, that's
it's
where I
my
was
1
going.
week.
That's where I was going.
I have so little.
So yeah, so this week was really hard. It was low scoring overall for most people. You won the round with only 240 points, which is pretty crazy. Honestly,
it's really low.
That's really low for the lows usually of a week. But it's but then it was JP was right behind you. Be careful. And then Mandy, Randy, Jamie, me, and my sister Kelly. So it
I'm not in last place anymore.
You are not, well, for people who are still putting in their votes, it didn't move you up. Sadly, the low points didn't really move you up the up
And
the
if you add up Jamie's 18
right, yeah, Jamie, I did
profiles.
I did a little math there. Jamie is sitting at 1,640 points. So
You wanna
that
know what? It tried to boot me out again this week. I was like,
what?
you will not. And for some reason, like it just on a refresh, it let me back in. I don't know. I was like, I can't create another version of myself for this
But you
game.
are still above God. But yeah, Mandy is actually in the lead of the league, and Maggie's in second, and my sister's third. So she went from first for so much, and now she's down to third. So you see,
The tides they are changing.
listen, don't get cocky. That's all I have to say.
That's good luck.
And then I'm in fourth, then JP in fifth, Randy, Jamie, and God. But
I
it
can
doesn't
still
matter.
win. Danny's just got to win out, and I win.
You know what? It doesn't matter because in the end, it's just fun. It gives us something to kind of to see if we can predict. And none of us are amazing at predicting it.
I've had a couple of years.
But you know, right. But I was going to say, isn't that what makes this season good? Is that even though we watch it and then we watch the previews for the next week, you can't really completely tell what's going to happen.
Nope.
So that makes it fun.
Leave some good surprises.
Yeah, so see, you had Big Brother who had their big social alliance that, that they wanted to do something and they did. And people said that was boring TV. And then you have the same thing try to happen here. It doesn't work out. It's not boring TV.
Right.
So CBS had the same, two extremes with
because
kind of the same concept.
The conflict sells. It's like the news. If it bleeds, it leads, right?
Don't really.
Oh, here it comes.
Let him in? Maybe.
Blah, blah, blah.
What's he going to be? Well, he has to.
I don't see his picture yet.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Oh, because I clicked him in and he clicked himself out.
No, I removed him because I clicked him in at the same time.
We can't start yet. Sorry. Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh.
Look at
that.
Yeah,
we're done. We're done now. So go ahead and say whatever you want.
If it isn't our East Coast Erica.
East Coast Erica?
Yep.
Were you busy eating your slop?
I was like, what?
Busy eating your slop?
Yeah, are you eating your slop or you got it hanging up somewhere?
My little shot of slop?
Show it up. Show it up.
Let's see it.
Show it up. Show it up. Wow. It's a whole.
Woo.
All right, for whoever is still watching, this is what we do after the show. Is we usually get a tour of JP's apartment.
Yeah,
he's got bona fide Big Brother slop in this little.
The after party to the after party.
And for all our viewers, JP, where did you get the slop?
I'm already in my pajamas.
That's
he
fine.
doesn't want to tell us where you got the slop.
Where'd you get your slop from? How'd you get your slop? Wow.
My friend Nicole.
Oh, do we know Nicole? Would any of us know Nicole?
Which Nicole would you speak of? Is she still have any more for sale?
Does she wear lederhosen? She does not.
No, I think she does still have some more for sale.
Well, throw it out there. Guys, everyone, check it out.
My jammies.
Oh, he's all
snuggled up there. Come on.
Snuggled in his jams.
Pajama jam.
Old man JP.
So does she still have them available for people to buy?
Yeah, I think they're on her. It's like through donations for Give Kids the World.
Yeah, on her Twitter. Check out Nicole Anthony.
On her Twitter.
Nicole Anthony's Twitter. Okay, there you go, guys. It was a little hard pulling that plug out, but we got it.
Because I got that fishing pole. He's got that fishing pole.
Right.
JP's over there trying to build a net out of a
t-shirt.
Out of a t-shirt and a buff.
That would actually work if you got the. That would actually work. It'd be stretchy. See.
A little stretchy.
I'm gonna figure it out. See, this is what you do. You do Ricard. Ricard is a tank top guy. You take a mesh tank top with you. It's already netting.
It's already
Boom.
a net.
You just make a fishing thing, you net out of it. Boom.
Problem solved. Yep.
JP, this has been my whole last hour. Is about this net. This is all we've talked about.
I've been watching and supporting.
Yeah.
What's our predictions for next week?
Well, if we're only 2 weeks to go, I don't know.
Think two go home next week?
I kind of think it has to, right?
Yeah.
We'd have to be down to going into the final night 2
I'm
hour.
going for it. Danny and
with
Erica.
5, yeah.
Get them out.
Ooh, you think Danny? and
Okay,
Erica.
Danny and Erica.
Well,
Christy?
I only say it because one, I don't like letting David be right. Yeah. And also,
You'll never live it down if I'm right 2 shows in a row.
I really like
No.
that, Jamie. I really like Danny and Erica because it gets and Erica first. Because I
yes.
could see Danny
Yep. I
convincing
want
them to
that
get
competition.
Erica
Yep.
Who's
because
Danny
he
again?
thinks. Oh, come on.
Every
Are you-
week somebody says like the name of somebody on the show, and I'm like, wait,
Danny's
that
the pro
was- that the
football.
person?
The pro football.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah. Right. Danny, that guy. So
Hey.
he wants Erica, and so I could see him moving people to get Erica out on vote 1. But then vote 2, they all swing in.
Yeah, because
vote
Eric,
Danny. That could happen.
honestly, the swing vote
Sorry,
usually
David.
the person who becomes the big swing vote of the season usually gets voted out, right? Because they don't have a loyalty on either side, and
Mhm.
everyone's like, I would rather this.
Everybody's
be
like,
gone
yeah, I'd rather cut that
because
person than, but
I
I
know
can't.
what to expect from over there.
Yeah.
So
I will predict Ricard and Erica in that order.
yeah, it's probably the wiser choice for everyone else's game, but I don't want to lose Ricard.
But that's the game move. I mean, that's
That is a good game. You know what? That shakes
just
things up
Danny,
too.
Danny and Deshaun get the girls to come over, kick out Ricard, then they don't need both of the girls.
Wait. I liked the way this sentence started because you're like, okay, Danny and Ricard are gonna, or Danny and Deshaun are gonna get both the girls to come over, and then you're like, and then just that's it. That's all they're gonna do.
Like we're writing a fanfic over here. You know what? Exactly. I don't. I can kind of see that scenario.
Mamma
playing out
Mia
too.
reference. I love it. That's actually Mamma Mia 2, but let's not get technical. Oops, I just admitted I knew that on an open podcast.
Oh,
I'll have to think about it. I like both of your ideas. I'm trying to think if I have a different scenario that'll go. I think it won't be Heather. I don't think it'll be Xander because I really hope the Xander goes, even if he doesn't win the whole thing, I hope he goes to the final 2. And when the show is over, he still has the idol in his pocket. I think that'd be great. I think that's to be great.
Well, if he goes to final 2 with the idol, that's part of his pitch. Look, I still have an idol.
I think the final 2 are going to be Xander's nipples.
Yay! Those are some large discus areolas on that man. They're just there.
I don't
know. They do a
his
really good job of holding them together. So
and his pants are hardly staying up anymore.
Yeah, he's looking real like gaunt. He's definitely got the
he's cut now. He's got like the whole lines of the.
Yeah.
But
he also
he had the abs going during the contest. Too.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? It's like he kind of looks like a flapper during the Depression.
with the curls hanging right, like.
Yeah, he's got like the flapper hair, and he's like all emaciated because they're hungry. And
he's cute.
I popped in to share, regarding finale night. I'm going to be at a finale party.
All right.
Where
well,
are you gonna be?
I'm going to be in Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm going to be at a party sponsored by Wendell, previous winner.
Nice.
Really?
Yep.
Mr. Wendell.
Is he a personal friend? I mean, do you like
okay, I got to
parks with Wendell?
We think
I don't know.
It
depends what he's giving away. No,
he's a cutie.
I had to buy a ticket this time.
But
hey, it all goes to charity, right?
Who else is going to be there?
I don't know. It says special guests. The one special guest that I was hoping would be there said she doesn't think she'll go because of another appearance. So we'll see.
Who is that? Oh, Nicole.
Appearances all over town.
He doesn't want to play.
Maybe Rachel Riley will be there.
Maybe.
Then I think I want to go. Give me a ticket.
What's the size of this event? How many people overall do you think?
I don't know. It's it's just like a regular bar in Hoboken, so I can't imagine it being like 50 people maybe.
Oh, you think
that just sounds like it just sounds like the beginning of a joke. So JP walks into a bar in Hoboken.
Yeah, it really is. It's like
and it's not full of hobos. It's full of Survivor contestants.
And Wendell, from a previous Survivor winner, is there
hosting a party. Weird.
In Hoboken.
So that'd be fun.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, take some pictures or
Yeah.
I'll
don't,
take some pictures.
or whatever you did. I shouldn't
I'll
tell
bring
you
my
what to do,
Polaroid.
but- Oh, those take good ones. Yeah,
It's hard to
yeah.
get film for Polaroids now. You got to go to like eBay for that stuff.
I know.
He's got a connection. He knows a guy, I'm sure.
He
Come on,
he
I'm
knows
sure.
like 3 guys that have Polaroid connections. JP's
Right.
the guy that has a guy that
There's
also
There's
Exactly.
probably a whole sea container of Polaroid film sitting off the coast of LA somewhere. On a boat.
a chest, a giant chest,
Getting all super heated up and hot. It won't be any good by the time they get it.
melted.
I know I have to like walk around and see if people are Polaroid worthy before I take their picture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
jokes write themselves.
That's a good one. That's
Funny.
Yep.
I mean, I'm
That's
assuming
just
that's a Seinfeld reference,
Yep.
right?
Kind
Yep.
of.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I don't even watch Seinfeld, and I know that one.
Well,
So,
look at that. Pulling it out.
Look at that. That's what she said.
So popular
Right.
culture. Popular culture. I think that we just can't let David win this one. That's it. I love Danny.
In
Danny
fairness,
is
even if
great.
I win, I don't win. Because my guy was Brad. So Danny
That's
really
true.
is my
True.
second.
I just don't even know if he goes to the finals with one of the girls, I think he wins. But I think if he goes with any of the guys, I don't know if he wins.
I think he beats Deshaun. I don't think he beats the
I
other two.
don't know because Deshaun is a much better speaker than him.
But
You
again,
saw
to get
Deshaun
there,
last
he's
night.
going to have to win a couple more. So if,
Yes.
he, if he wins
Sure,
3 of the
sure,
last
sure.
4,
Oh yeah, that'll shoot him right up on
Right,
top there with the
right,
rest.
exactly.
Sure,
But
but
he's got
Deshaun
to. He's got to win them all.
still might be able to make an argument. The boy can talk.
Yeah,
Yep.
but Danny's just going to say he did everything I told him to all season and took all the flack for it. Look, you
I
all
would-
yelled
He's
at
not
me.
gonna. He's gonna. No, he's not
I
gonna
don't
say
think
anything.
Danny would say
He's
that.
just gonna smile and shake his head.
I think Danny seems to be very just like I said, quiet, but also
yeah.
he's not braggadocious. He's not out there puffing.
I don't think
himself
that
out.
he has the
he's
vocal
humble.
conviction to convince a jury if they're wavering. If they're not wavering and they don't need convincing because he wins
Yeah.
out the rest of the game.
Yeah, but if
Then
they're
he's
on the
got it.
fence, yeah,
Well, that's it. And he pretty much to win, he's got to win at least the next 2.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he might because
I
we
agree.
had talked about it last week that up until last week he did not have to win anything. And why
Right.
paint a target on yourself if you don't have to because you feel like you have a good enough voting block?
Yep.
And we said last week if he starts winning things, then maybe he was throwing them. And what happened? He won. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
All righty. Well, anything else, guys?
That's
I
it.
got nothing.
Nope.
That's it.
That's what
That's all
I
there
see.
is.
Okay, cool. Well,
That is what
guys,
she said.
we'll see you
Oh,
back here.
Yeah, go to YouTube and check out the Ponderosa videos. There's a really great song that's been written for Survivor, and you'll get it stuck in your head for like 3 days.
Cool. Oh, you know what? Maybe we should all go watch the Ponderosas and we can talk about anything up and through next week's Ponderosa.
There you go.
Like, yeah, there we go. All right, fantastic. Well, see you next time, next Thursday night. Same time, same bat channel, same bat time. All right, guys, have a good one. We will see you later.
See ya.